Dude, I just watched a fucking video on Fox Business. Has some jackass. He's talking about there's a reckoning of credit card debt coming. That's the title of the video. I'm 3.5 minutes into it, roughly. 3 minutes, 50 seconds. This guy just said, well, they're wanting pay raises and pay increases for the work they're doing as railroad union workers. They're wanting paid sick days and yada, yada, yada. And there's no proof that legacy systems such as this are of enough value to pay these people more. Are you a fucking imbecile? Like, really? Are you fucking retarded? That's my question to you. Legacy system? You get how the world actually works, right? If not, let me fucking explain it to you. Everything that you fucking get has been on a truck. Everything that you get has been on a train. Most of the stuff that you get has been on a ship. Warren Buffett, with what is going on, is buying the fucking railroads. Why? It's because railroads aren't a legacy system. You can think all you want that, trains are old-fashioned and whatever's old-fashioned and boats are old-fashioned. We need newfangled electric cars. Jesus fucking Christ, you're retarded. Okay? Like, a newfangled electric truck will not replace the train. The train takes about as much diesel as it takes to run a few semi-trucks and makes a thing move hundreds of or thousands of semi-trucks all at once. Like, it depends on the train, it depends on how many containers it has, right? But like a big fucking cargo train going fucking across the US, you could have a shitload of cars on it, and one train car holds as much or more than a truck. So you figure that every fucking car being pulled by a train is another semi-truck. And from what I understand, the modern trains are really fuel efficient. Like, it's getting to the point to where, like, they're using as much diesel as a couple of semi-trucks to pull hundreds of them. And this is kind of in a nutshell why, with all this Green New Deal bullshit and all this energy shit going on, they basically effectively said we aren't using gasoline anymore. And if we aren't using gasoline anymore, yes, you might be able to make a cute fucking electric car and go buzz around the town. Like, this is the thing. In the system that they are creating, the average person isn't going to have a car. The average person is going to be taking a commuter train. Legacy systems. Are you fucking insane? And this is kind of in a nutshell why we're being led into a fucking abyss by people that don't know any better. That dude on Fox News is an expert. They hired him as an expert to talk about this and his reaction to the railroad people wanting to be paid a living wage with today's inflation. His reaction to that is, we don't know that we can afford to pay for a legacy system that we might not need. That's how all of these people are eventually going to think about all of you. You're peasants. They are kings. And they are reordering the world as such to make them have all the technology and you have none of it. That's what this is about. And at the point that they have the technology that they have and you have no tech at all, you might as well be a fucking human and they might as well be a god, like a Greek god. I have capabilities and shit in my possession now that if I showed up in fucking third world countries 100 years ago, I would have been a god. That's what they want. So I think it's all they've ever fucking wanted. Legacy fucking systems. I'll add down to this that basically, from a military standpoint, in order for me to land my armor where I need it to be, I need trains. And like, this only matters if you're having tank battles, right? Really. In today's day and age, if we're not fighting with tanks, if we're fucking infantry, we could be, put on trucks or helicopters real easy. That's not that big a deal. It's heavy equipment, it's ammunition, it's material and supply. If I can land a troop train someplace full of ammunition, troops, and everything, that's a whole army carried on a fucking train. This is why railroads are militarily important. And we need to maintain them. Our ability to move our military where we wish within our own fucking country is important. And I'm not saying that the union should be everything or whatever, but that union is barely protecting poor, desperate people from fucking robber barons. We live in the new era of the robber baron. Like, if you go read about the 1880s and 1890s, basically, a few people made a whole bunch of money off of new technology, and they started playing politics, and it didn't go well. And we ended up with Teddy Roosevelt. That was the sum total of that. And Trump is essentially the new Teddy Roosevelt. A lot of people don't see that. Like, he's not exactly him. Like, it's always a shady version of itself. And there's some, Chester A. Arthur and shit thrown in. But go read about American history from 1870 to 1900. And you'll recognize where we are. Okay? We're in the build-up to World War I. We've been living in it for fucking 2 decades now. And it continues to build. And I think this is how World War III is. Basically, it's already started. And we just haven't started calling it World War III yet. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know if we're really going to fight or not. Seems like nobody in America has that left in them anymore. And I think this is the thing, that we're going to let China and Russia run roughshod over us for a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning. We're going to let China and Russia run roughshod over us for a little bit. I don't know how long that's going to be. That could be 2 years. That could be 20 years. Whenever that's done, we're going to build an army and conquer the whole fucking earth. This is what happens when you pressure Americans. What they're doing in America right now is creating a situation where these liberal piss ants that own all this money and all these companies are about to not have any say-so to ever do anything here ever again. Or they're going to run us like fucking kings. And I think with what's going on in politics, believe it or not, the red wave did happen. Okay, it was a small wave, but we took back the fucking house. And at this point, we're going to have to continue to watch the Democrats be jackasses for years. And I think really this isn't going away. The issue is that there's a substantial portion of this population that they think everyone should be peasants. And you know, that's why I fit into their plan. Like, I'm essentially a peasant. A lot of people don't get that. Like, I don't have much. I really like the shit I have. And this is one of those, like, I do not value the things that you value. Flat out. You know? If you value gold and houses and cars, you're going to be chasing that all your fucking life. You just are. I'm not saying don't have a car. I'm not saying don't have a house. I'm not saying don't have whatever. What I'm saying is, if you have a good house and you like it, stop. Okay? Like, you don't need a house bigger than a certain size. And it depends how many people you have, right? But there's all these people that go out and buy these mansions. If I had a family of 40 people that included men, women, and children and people capable of doing all of the tasks needed on that land and living in that house together, then yeah, sure. But like, realize that you're building a Xavier's School for the Gifted or whatever, and that you're going to need some people to tend the grounds. And if you're not a billionaire, that costs money. Okay, so modify the plan. Well, how do I modify the plan? I modify the plan by, instead of, hey, we're going to have this giant palace with palatial grounds, I'd like to fucking have just a slice of the earth. Give me woods. Give me fields. We build a cabin. And then let me build whatever it is that I'm going to live in. Because, like, this is my thing. Is my first steps are land and cabin, right? The next steps are, like, castles and mansions and shit. Okay? But, like, you have to have somewhere to live to build the fucking castles. Like, this is half of the thing that people don't get about people like me and maybe even like Kossoff and my Uncle Justin and others that are like, they get true Scotsmen. Scotsmen were the people that the English basically sent here to conquer the Indians. A lot of people don't get that. That basically, you know, the way they sent Scotch-Irish convicts to fucking Australia, the Americas started out as a place for a bunch of religious weirdos to go. Then all of those religious weirdos damn near died. And the colonies that they set up essentially became the best place to sell your furs and shit, because while those religious fucks that almost died were kind of jackasses, they had nice buildings and ports and shit already built, and people like me that were coming here were going to live off the back of a horse with a gun. And it really helps to have fucking towns to come and sell your shit in. So, like, this is the two-pronged attack of conquering any fucking land, really, if you're English. You know, you need towns and you need rangers. That's what the Scotsmen that they sent to fucking America were. The actual term ranger comes from noble houses and shit in England. They'd hire a man like me to be out in their woods. Go watch The Lord of the Rings. Look at Aragorn. As much as those men were. Sword and bow, and probably had been living in the woods most of their lives. I find that fascinating. I find it fascinating that men like that essentially got flintlock firearms and came and settled America. And this is George Washington and them weren't this. The people that I'm talking about are on the trail bleeding edge of the frontier fighting Indians. And by fighting Indians, I mean probably intermarrying with Indians and making, deals and treaties with them. Because, this is the secret that a lot of people never got about Scotsmen in America, or anyone that was living as a ranger. This included a bunch of the French, too. You don't go in and fucking just shoot the chief. You go in and you marry the chief's daughter, and you become part of the tribe, and then you try to figure out what they want, what you want, and somewhere in the fucking middle, you figure out where the future is going to be. You make bread, you make treaties, and you shake hands and you go home. And this is kind of in a nutshell how we got America. There was a lot of shooting and whatever at the end too, as the Indians started realizing there wasn't going to be any America left. It started getting violent. This is basically like when the Mormons moved to Mexico. They're doing the same thing. They're the crazy group of religious people. You have to have the crazy group of religious people
industries which are being
going out into the fucking wilderness to build a town. It's the only way it's really going to get done. Men like me aren't ever going to build the kind of cities that those people will. Men like me will build a collection of houses in the woods, and there'll be that, and then 10 miles away there'll be another one, and then 10 miles away there'll be another one. We're too much of a loner to really build cities. Anyone that was like this anyway, maybe they like to be in small groups, maybe they like to be in even groups of 10 to 20. But that's a really, really small town, not a small city. The Mormons or the Pilgrims or whoever that showed up here or wherever you're going to send people, they come in groups of thousands, and they come with hammers and nails, and they cut boards. So this is sort of like people like me create a buffer zone that allows those people to do what they do. That's how I see it. We're like a disease, really, in some ways. And I think the Mormons and the Pilgrims and the fucking Scotsmen and whoever else that would be up for fucking colonizing somewhere else, I think this is the real answer, is the Mormons probably won't be able to do shit on their own. We probably wouldn't be able to do shit on our own. What happens if a group of us decided to just go move in next door to those Mormons in Mexico and have machine guns? Wouldn't that be fun? This is the real world. Okay? This is why railroads matter. You still live in the same fucking world that I'm describing. And the railroad is the thing that made most of America a viable place to live. It's not a legacy system. To ever insinuate that a railroad is a legacy system shows that you are by far the stupidest man I've ever met. See you guys later.